Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Electric People Podcast. I'm Ty Williams. I was joined on the podcast with director Grant Shaw and franchise rep Laura Hernandez. So Laura is the first female rep in the Flow region ever to hit franchise. It is an awesome milestone. I actually had the chance to go out and knock with her in kind of my standard rotations a couple months ago, and was thoroughly impressed by her process. She's a great salesperson. You can tell that she's done the work. On this episode, she is very open, and you get a chance very quickly to understand the way that Laura thinks. That's obviously a theme on this show, is success leaves clues, and people are generally successful based on the way that they think, and actions and and skills generally fall in line after that. So as you listen to this, I mean, Laura moved here from Colombia in 2019 to learn English, came completely alone, learned English, had multiple jobs, moved across the country, was recruited to Sunrun by a friend, overcame language barrier, cultural differences, general just concern about knocking doors, being a female in a mostly dominated male world, and whatever. She crushed it at every single turn, and she's very open with the way that she thinks, which is the biggest takeaway. We talk a lot about overcoming resistance. We talk a lot about what to focus on and how to make it more effective, and ultimately how to hit your goals and what it takes. So Laura, you're amazing. This has been a fun episode. Everybody enjoy this episode with Laura Hernandez. The street is where we create. We call it suburbanpreneurship.
Mixing big company resources with an entrepreneurial spirit.
This is Electric People. Oh my gosh, we're live.
Hello.
We weren't recording and now we are. You're on. All the lights pointed at Laura Hernandez.
It was like kind of surprise.
Yeah.
You're gonna say 3, 2, 1. Okay.
No,
okay.
we don't warm you up. We just throw it on you,
I
like
love
getting
it.
splashed in the face with cold water. So, franchise rep, my second to last knocking experience in the street, crucial member of one of my favorite text threads, the Street West franchise thread, always popping off every day. Laura Hernandez, how are you?
Good. I feel honored to be here. Grateful to be here, and yeah.
Well, you've earned it. Grant keeps bringing his franchise reps through. Hey, senior leaders, bring your franchise reps through, right?
We're going to keep it going. Laura
Hey.
has like 3 she's working on right now, so.
As we speak.
Yeah,
Your
we got
phone's
more
gonna be
franchise
buzzing.
people coming, so.
Oh, you're not 3 deals, 3 more franchise people.
Both.
Yeah. And 3 more deals.
Yeah, both.
Awesome. Well, let's get started with simply how you found Sunrun and how long you've been here, and rattle off some of your stats for people that might not know you.
Yeah. So I've been in Sunrun for a year and a half. My good friend Alexandra, she works in Commonwealth office in Boston. We met almost 7 years ago, and basically Sunrun came with, I was literally craving for some change in my life, and it was like something that you always pray God for, like, like a good change.
Mm-hmm.
And then she came to California with her boyfriend, and then she said, hey, like, we had this, we work at this company, we're making this amount of money. She showed me like everyone's paychecks, and I, like, when she showed me that, I was like, is that even possible?
Wow.
Like, yeah.
How did you know her?
We used to work in the same restaurant almost 8 years ago.
Here in California or
in Boston.
So you were living in Boston?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Okay.
I lived there for 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so that's how she recruited me. And yeah, like ever since then, I feel like this is a huge opportunity that I don't want to take it for granted.
It's crazy that, so were you still working in the restaurant then
Mm-hmm.
you had left there and came to California.
Mm-hmm.
And what were you doing for work when you were in California?
Ever since I came to United States, it's been working in the restaurant industry.
So different restaurant from when you met her, but you were working in a restaurant here. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And what brought you to a point where you felt like you just needed a change?
When I was here, it was a period of my life where I was waiting to get my green card.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking, well, it was 6-7 years after being here that I was thinking, well, I came here and I want to be doing this. Like, I want to make my family proud. Like, I need to step up.
She just felt that.
Yes. I was in a cycle.
Yeah. I think a lot of people know what that feels like. You know, like it's that thing where, especially high performers, like you get this. So on our books, there's almost 4,000 sales reps in the channel that you're in, right? You add all of our door knockers and there's over 5,000, right? There's 20 franchise reps, 25 maybe?
Usually 20, 25, yeah.
Right? So think about that, right? In a group, just picture if like you're in a big like event space and there's 5,000 people in there and you know, you're one of 25 and they're pulling your name out of the raffle. Like you don't expect your name, like the odds are so low, right? But that's literally the situation that you're in. You've stood out. And so a lot of high performers, I think, know the feeling of, we used to call it eagerly unsatisfied. I think we still do, but like, I know that I'm built for more, and you feel almost like frustrated, but you don't know why. It's you know what I'm talking about? It's like that feeling of like, man, like I'm not sufficiently challenging myself, or I'm not, for some reason I know I'm capable of more. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, and it has to be impactful when your friend that you worked with,
Yeah.
you do the same thing. They're kind of in this new phase. You're still in that same phase, and then you see it and you're like, okay, hold on. Like, I got to go do that. How many, was it 2 or 3 jobs you were working before Sunrun?
2 or 3 jobs.
At a time?
Yeah. So when
That's actually people say that, but think about it. You leave one job, go to another job, and then a couple days a week, go to another job.
Well, and I think it's a big part of her story. That's why I want to talk about it, because just maybe talk about like your upbringing. Like Laura's the hardest worker. She's always working, and every time you see her out, you're like, a deal's coming. You just know. But I think when you know her backstory, it's like, man, there's like some real long-term character and work ethic and grit built in. So maybe just talk about like upbringing, 2 to 3 jobs, like everything leading up to Sunrun.
Yeah. So I have the blessing to see all my family being hard workers, every single person in my family. So I feel like that's a core value that we have. And also when I came to United States, I mean, it was me, like with me,
How old were you?
19. First, I was supposed only to come here for 6 months to study English, and here I am after 9 years. So
And where'd you grow up?
in Colombia.
Colombia.
Yeah, I'm from Bogota, Colombia. So when like as I say, so it was me with me. So obviously in Colombia, it's not like my family is poor, low income or anything like that, but they were always living paycheck to paycheck.
Sure.
And it was not going to be a thing that if I was having a hard time here, I was going to call them and asking for money.
Right. That
Absolutely
wasn't
no.
an option. Yeah.
So so me here being alone, like when I think about it, I remember that there was a lot of people telling me, "Oh my God, Laura, you're so strong. Like, how do you do it?" And like I didn't see that.
Yeah.
I never saw that. But then when I think about it, I'm like, "Oh my God, I can't believe I was, like I made it through
Hey,
by myself."
I've been a 19-year-old in a foreign country before. And it's real, like it's almost indescribable. You it's not like you're homesick. You feel like you're from a different planet, right? Like it's stuff like the cultural references don't make sense. The basic communication is hard. The food is different. You do things that people think are funny that you don't even understand why they're laughing. You know what I mean? I'll give you one. While we rein the tears in, but I remember I was speaking to somebody and I was trying to tell them that I was embarrassed in Spanish, and so I said I was embarazado, which basically said I'm pregnant. Right? So I was like, sorry. And everyone was just laughing, and I remember not laughing. I didn't know why they were laughing, and it was just like, one thing after another.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember feeling hopeless. I was like, why, what did I say now? And they're like, oh, they said you're pregnant. And I was like, nice. It's actually a funny thing, but I remember just being like, I can't even communicate a basic emotion.
Mm-hmm.
It's very, very difficult. So I know somewhat of what you're talking about, and to have your family a world away
Yeah.
and not really even able to help you if you wanted them to, because you know what I mean? Like
Yes.
that's and you're 19. That's an
Uh-huh.
incredible
Yeah. And
situation.
yeah. Another thing, like for me, was never an option to calling them and telling them, oh, I'm having a hard time right now, because they were there. They can come here. I can go there. So what's the point of telling them, hey, I have a hard time? Like just
Right.
worry them,
Yeah,
right?
that's right.
So I feel like ever since then, I was building this resilience that I didn't know I was building. And I feel like that's one major factor why I can be, I don't know, strong with this job, because it's like I built that resilience, tough skin before, like with all those challenges, which I'm grateful. And I know God giving me this opportunity, the right timing, when I was ready for it. So yeah, and so I had to work 2-3 jobs in order for me to pay school and everything. But then when it came to this time where like, okay, I need to step up, like, God, like what I'm meant to be doing. I feel like I'm meant for doing something else, something bigger. Show me the right path. And it was in this time where I went to Target, I bought a journal, and I literally started writing all the things that I was grateful for. And since that day, my life started to change.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing.
What gave you the idea to start doing that?
Because, like, as I say, I was in that cycle that I needed change in my life. So it's like your brain literally going to Google, how do I change my life?
That's so awesome.
Like buying books, listening to podcasts. So I wanted to improve myself. Like, yeah, so.
I remember you told me once in a conversation that you, like, the kind of the cycle your parents were in, coming here, then being here longer, then working 2 jobs and 3 jobs. And I remember you said, like, you're working hard, you had that core character, like you were gonna do that no matter what. But then you kind of had this moment that was like, man, I'm getting in that same cycle where I'm a hard worker, I'm doing the right things, I'm showing up in life, but I'm going paycheck to paycheck. I'm having to reset every year. And so it's cool to hear. I didn't know that, like, to go and say, okay. And then I started this gratitude practice. Then an old friend came back in, and you kind of see your life just start lining up. And then there's like a real opportunity. Because here's what's cool. Like, even you just kind of open up and being vulnerable right now. I think in our region, people see Laura and they're like, she's just like, it's kind of the same thing that we talked about with Spencer. It's like there's this thing where people from the outside just go, she's just resilient and gritty and just works. And
she's just good at it.
Yeah, she's good. It's everything she touches turns to gold. It comes easy to her. And it's like, well, no, it's actually really deep. It's like years of character development, then a really big why, and then this realization of, man, I didn't have the opportunity. Now I have it. I'm not going to waste it. And so I see it now. It's like, man, every Sunday, almost every single Sunday, Laura goes out, and we know clockwork where we have 1 or 2 more deals on a Sunday, every Sunday. And it's pretty amazing. So maybe like this is awesome, by the way. This was already like one of my favorites. Just hearing it is amazing. But what translate that over. So then you start at Sunrun, and when were you like, I'm all in, I'm gonna do? Was it right out of the start? Like, how did that part of the process happen?
I would say since day one. Of course, I was scared. I would remember when I was doing my Zoom calls, all I was saying was, why dudes? on the Zoom calls. So I was like, oh my God, I'm the only girl here, the only Latina here. Like, and then when I went to boot camp, again, like all of them white dudes. So I was like, okay, but I got this. And I don't know, I feel like I treated my combine like my proof for myself that I could change my life. And I remember last time when you went to one of our correlations and you mentioned about the motorcycle.
The whole shot.
Yeah. So I feel like that's how it was my combine. I worked every single day, even in New Year's Eve. I got my first VC for New Year's Eve.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, and like I treat my combine like my push to, to do good, do amazing. And I feel like it had a compound effect for the whole year.
Yeah. Let me explain the whole shot to people that haven't heard of it before. But basically in motorcycle racing, Grant grew up racing motorcycles. So in motorcycle racing, if you're outdoors, there's 40-something people that line up at the starting gate. In a stadium, there's 20-something, 22 or something that line up at a starting gate. And you're going to do either a 30-minute moto or inside it's about 20 minutes. But you're, the best racers in the world on the fastest machines in the world that you can't even buy, that are all factory made to be the fastest, lightest, most electric bikes, whatever. They all line up and the race starts with everybody lined up and they all accelerate as fast as they can into the first corner. So it's usually a couple hundred yards into a pretty steep right or left turn, or a pretty heavy turn. And so the stats are, if you can get out in front of the race in that couple hundred yards, again, it's a 30-minute race. A whole shot takes 6 seconds, right? If you can get out in front of the pack, then 50% of the time you'll win the race. So the start is the most important part. And we also talked about how the advice was to get good at the thing that you do the most. The door approach, the account management, the stuff like that. Because as the racers get close to, the next stop on the circuit, they predominantly work on their starts over and over and over again, knowing that that's the most effective thing that they can do. Mm-hmm. The interesting thing is the amount of accidents that happen, the amount of opportunity that comes, it all hinges on the start. And so we liken that to the combine, or even like this season of, the industry or whatever, to where if you can get out in front of the pack right now, that momentum can carry you through your career. But if you start slow or start in the middle of the pack, not only is it you kind of get lost in the pack, but you don't get that momentum. And so when opportunities to be promoted, when opportunities to earn incentives, when opportunities to earn extra income come, you're stuck in the middle of the path. So if you can get there, one person through the corner first, it's a lot safer. If you go back, if you're a half flick of the wrist slower, you're trying to fit 15 people through a corner that fits 5. So it's so much more advantageous to hit your start hard. Spencer in our last podcast said his main piece of advice was hit the first 6 months with everything you have, because then it will get you out in front so that you can start benefiting from some momentum.
Yeah,
right?
It's easier. And you also have the evidence, if I did this in my combine, I didn't know anything. Yeah. I can do it now.
Well, so you guys started at you and Spencer started at the exact same time. Yeah. They're the two top in the region. What's cool though is exactly what you're saying, that they both had a hot start. Yeah. And it is, because I think if you don't, what happens is your brain tells you stuff. It's going to tell you a story. So if you're starting in the middle of the pack, you're like, okay, well, I'm not going to be the winner. Like you're already telling yourself that. Mm-hmm. And then a bike crashes in front of you. And so then you get slowed up and you're like, see, now I got to deal with all this. And you're seeing everything different, where when you start and then you just said it, you have this evidence, okay, I can do this. Any wins, it's hey, go do, if the top rep did 40 pitches, do 55. And then go to the next meeting, it's I'm the best, I'm the workhorse in the office. If it's someone did 5 ACs, do 10. If someone did 3 VCs, do 6. If you can just push through that first part, it does. It sets up your brain for the rest of the time. Be like, I can be the front person.
Yeah.
Like that whole shot literally tells you for the next 30 minutes, like even when a slower guy gets the whole shot and we know he's probably not going to win.
It's kind of my favorite because I'd like, you can like see in their eyes like, oh my gosh, I'm in front.
But
like,
it's the most time that you can see. Sometimes they end up hanging on for half the race.
Yeah.
Because their brain is telling them, I can do this. I can do it. I'm the best in the whole world. Right. Like there's
Justin Cooper right now, right?
Yeah.
Like, literally.
Yeah.
Sorry, we'll go deep into racing for a second. You want to come with us?
Of course.
All right. Justin Cooper.
By the way, we talked about this on the last podcast, but you're literally sitting at the table with 2 professional Baja drivers.
Yeah, you should know that. You should know that first and foremost. But Justin Cooper was relatively insignificant. One of the best in the world, always fast, but it's not like you would notice if Justin Cooper didn't go to the race that weekend. Outdoors this year, that sucker's been in the top like 3 of every single start. And all of a sudden, I'm like, okay, I guess he is a top contender just because he starts so fast.
And just shout out, Justin, if you do hear this podcast for whatever reason, you're tuning into we're sorry.
Yeah,
we didn't mean anything.
Yeah, it's not like we didn't care if you were there, but real talk, no. So one thing that I want to ask you is you started a year and a half ago. So you'd been speaking English for 4 years.
Yeah, 5.
4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
You go into a job that is one of the, talking to strangers, public speaking is the biggest fear of people that are good with words. Again, speaking a foreign language, like maybe give some insight into how much harder it is because you can't fully. I had this thought when I was in Ecuador. That's where I lived for a couple of years, where I was like, a lot of these people actually don't know me. They don't know my full personality because I can't express myself the same way I normally do. And so they hear my accent, which is different. And they see my mannerisms, which are culturally a little bit different. And they actually think I'm somebody different. Yeah. But whenever I sell in Spanish, like talk about like the challenge of doing that through a different language if you can.
Yeah. So, excuse me. That was one of my biggest fears, of course, knocking doors with my accent. But to be honest, I feel like it's a plus because it's like more detail, more intrigue for what you're saying. So I think it's more beneficial. I see it as a skill to have an accent at this job.
You also, initially, you have to be simple because you don't have the full vocabulary to be complicated. And so it does force you to stick to the most important part and simplify. And a lot of times when people have a hot start, they start hot because they are making it simple. And then they start to complicate it. And the answer is always simplify it.
Yes.
Bring it back to bare bones.
Yes.
But I like the way that, and I want to hear more about it, but I like the way that you're just notice on this podcast, a lot of times we talk about the way that high performers think. So some people could say, well, yeah, of course, to your point, I'm not going to be number one because it's hard for me to speak and I have an accent and it makes me insecure. Or you could say, I actually think it's an advantage. Not everybody talks like me. I'm out here working. I have to keep it simple. I'm going to use this. It's the same situation thought of differently,
Yeah, different perspectives. Yeah.
But it's hard. It's hard to, when I speak English to another English speaker, the thought does not cross my mind. Do you understand me and am I making myself clear? When I speak Spanish, like you and me went and did a sale in Spanish a month ago or whatever. And even when I was speaking to that guy with 2 native speakers, I was like, how do I sound to you guys? Am I making sense? I'm trying to convey this. Is it landing? Having that going on in the back of your head is a whole different world.
Yes.
It pulls you from being present and being able to do. Yeah.
By the way, I was very impressed by your Spanish.
Thanks. You see how I led her into that?
I was like, just teed it up for her real quick.
Yeah, but yes, it is never gonna be the same me expressing in Spanish versus English. I feel like I'm more true myself, obviously, with my first language, Spanish. But yeah, I think it's a very advantageous to just make it simple, and I feel like that's how it has helped me even since the beginning. So
it's weird too because the things that are in your head, like you might be nervous, but you live in Southern California, like. Everybody's got something in them, right? Like this is a melting pot of people and many people speak multiple different languages. And so when people see you, they don't have those insecurities at all. Like to them, it's not abnormal at all.
Yeah.
It's the game that we play in our heads. And I think maybe even your mentality of like, oh, this is an advantage. Like You're one of the top sellers in the industry. You've only been in the country for 6 years. You're speaking a second language. You're a female in a team where there's mostly males. Most of the stories we tell ourselves are not true. Your brain lies to you constantly, right?
Yeah.
So what other things did you have to overcome from that? So it's a bunch of white dudes speaking a different language, but then you're knocking doors, which is hard if you were to be knocking doors in Colombia.
Yeah.
How was that for you?
I was, oh my God, I was thinking about it last night because I feel like knocking doors in Colombia, our culture is that if someone knocks at your door, we're like the type of people that we like go to a window. We're like, and then we hide.
Hey, I know those people.
Yeah, and then
you
we
hide.
stay quiet.
Yeah.
But there is someone there, and we definitely not open that door for that stranger. So
Really? I would have thought that they're like open and family and like
no, because there it could be dangerous.
Okay.
It's like why is this a stranger knocking on my door? But here, that the culture is here. It's normal to do.
Yeah.
Sales to door-to-door sales. Yes.
So another thing in the back of your head.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. So
That is so crazy because our like teams, most people would be like, man, they don't want to open the door. It's like I feels like I shouldn't be here. You wig yourself out because of the way you're thinking. And again, you're seeing the exact same picture and you're like, yeah, here the culture is like, it's totally normal for you to come knock on my door. Mm-hmm. And, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. But to be fair, I really love knocking doors. Like I love being outside with the sunlight and then talking to people. I just love it. Like, and I feel like because when I have that energy, that's when I find laydowns for some reason, which is crazy. Yeah.
It's not crazy. It's you're creating that environment, right? Like we're gonna go to this place that we sometimes go. We're gonna go energy and spacey and whatever, but we'll get a little woo woo. Do you know the word woo woo?
Like
woo.
So, yeah.
Right? It's
Yeah.
like a little weird, So it's interesting that you say, oh, it's the weirdest thing. I find laydowns. However, if what you just gave us insight into is what's happening in your head. So in your head, you're saying, hey, my experience, my background, my accent is an advantage. That's what you're telling yourself. You're also telling yourself, I love being outside. I love knocking doors. One, it's confident, it's positive, so it's attractive, right? If you are walking around in your head saying, this is so stupid, no one even wants me here, plus how am I supposed to even be successful? I'm not even from this country. And they're just going to hide behind the doors. Nobody wants to talk to me anyway. You would not find laydowns. You don't find them, you create them, right? And so it's a weird thing, but you notice like when you're in a good mood and you just sold one, how easy is it to sell another one?
Yeah.
It's almost like you trip on it. But when you're negative and grumpy, it's almost like you guys drove here together. You walked in the door. It seemed like everything was normal. Had you had a massive fight or something and walked in, I would have been like, what's going on? Like what's up with you guys? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because people can tell, like we're made of energy, right? And so honestly, like the way you are, the way that you think, the way that you believe is far more impactful to the exact words that you say. And what does everybody ask you? What's your pitch? How do you transition? What do you say when? But they don't ask you, how do you think? What do you say to yourself? How are you viewing this situation?
Yeah.
Interesting, right?
Yeah.
Do you know you're thinking like that? Like, are you working at that? Like, it's like, oh man, I'm a little down in the dumps today. I need to get positive. Or is it just natural for you to just see it that way, like operate from that place? Does that make sense what I'm asking? Like, do you have to put yourself in check sometimes?
Yes.
Or you do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I was gonna say like no every day is a rainbow day at the doors, right? But whenever I'm having like a hard day, I don't know, I feel like I pray inside. I am like, please God, send me the person, send me the person, send me the person. And it's like kind of like no giving up. Like I feel like it's crazy that always the last doors are the ones, and those are the ones that literally change your metrics for the quarter, the year. Like I always think, thank God, like that day I didn't give up, and I found my last lay down, and it was the insole I needed to hit premier, high performing. So that, and also I feel like Sunrun has a very good group of people that is always, thriving, and it's a community for pushing each other to be better. And I feel like, for example, Shiran, I love Shiran. Shiran has done like such a positive impact to all the girls, because we push each other to be better. And like if I have a hard day, so I call some of my friends like, hey, like, is this happening to you? And okay, we keep each other to do, to keep pushing.
Yeah. The interesting thing with that idea of it's always the last door, right? We talk about them a lot. It's hard for me to remember what I've said on this show and what I haven't. So if you're hearing the same thing over and over again, I'm sorry. This is all I got. This is all my stuff. But Stephen Pressfield wrote this book called The War of Art. And in The War of Art, he talks about a similar concept that's in The Alchemist. Have you ever read The Alchemist?
No.
You would love it. So my son is 15, so I'm trying to like start to introduce him to like developmental books and stuff. So we just listened to The Alchemist on our last drive. And The Alchemist basically has this quote in there that says, when you truly want something, the universe conspires to help you get it. So what I've heard from you today, and I believe that's like the law of attraction, that's all that stuff, right? What I've heard from you today is you knew that you wanted more, but immediately when you go to do the thing, what Stephen Pressfield talks about in his book is you encounter resistance. Anytime you go with like a creative or a building or a positive like action, immediately you're going to meet resistance. So think about like if you want to get strong muscles and you go to lift the weight, what are you going to feel? You're going to feel resistance. That's why it's called resistance training. And you have to push through the resistance to get the reward. That's just how this world seems to work. And so he talks about how everything that you want is how you deal with that resistance and starting to know that the resistance is going to come. So I think some people get into this job and they say, I don't know, maybe their recruiter made it sound easy. Or maybe when they went to their combine training or their boot camp, that looks easy. And so they go out and they get resistance and they're shocked. They can't believe it. They're like, oh, this job sucks or this job is hard. It's not hard, it's just resistance. I think a lot of people expect resistance. There's that quote by Kobe Bryant that says, you can't possibly expect this to be easy, right? Like he's in the NBA, right? And so I think when you first of all, when something is hard, you called your friend and Shiran and be like, hey, are you dealing with this too? One, giving it a name and saying, it's just resistance. That's all this is. Anytime you go to do something positive, you are going to encounter resistance. But then it's almost like the success requires that test of resistance to see how bad you really want it. And if you can hang with it through the resistance, eventually, I know this might sound weird, but eventually the universe kind of lets go and it's like, all right, she's good, let her through. And then you find that person at 8:30 that was like, I'll do it. What do you got? And you're like, where were you at 2?
Yeah.
But that's what seems to happen is you have the goals, you meet the resistance, you persist through it. It tunes your mind, it tunes your body, it makes you hungry, and then you can grab it.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
But I think you started this by saying like you're so resilient, but resilience comes from dealing with resistance as you push through it. I don't know. I like to break down like what's actually happening because you might think you got to lay down. Really, you worked out for 6 hours and you were strong enough to get it at that time, right? Doesn't it happen that way?
Yeah, I feel like it's God responds to effort. And yeah, I feel like I always tell people if it was that easy, I would be finding VCs every hour, every day. But it's not like that.
You'd make a lot less money for those VCs, right?
Yeah. So it's not like that. It's actually working the hours and knowing like it's faith with effort. Knowing that you're going to get something, but you also put the action for it. And it will come. It will come.
What What does your routine look like? Are you a routine-based person?
Yeah.
And do you still do the gratitude journal?
Yes.
You're like not turning that off.
No, no. I love waking up early.
Sorry. Can we start with? We didn't get to acknowledge this, but how awesome is it that you like Googled how do you change your life?
Yeah.
And then you went to. Don't give me a single excuse as to why you can't be successful. If Laura basically came here from Colombia, working 3 jobs, learning the language completely alone, started your journey to success by Googling how do I change my life and walking into Target and buying a notebook.
That made me laugh.
There's not a person that can't do that.
Right now, me and Hannah were laughing last night because we're talking. We have like 2 different types of friends. Some talk to Chat GPT like a person, like a friend, you know?
Yeah.
And when you said that, I picture Laura just being like, all right, what should I do next? But Googling that and then just starting it, I thought the same thing. Like, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
But it's awesome because it's not, you're just willing to go through the steps. Like most people would be too embarrassed to Google it. You're like, whatever. I know there's something out there. Start where you are. Right. All right. So keep going. You were talking about your routine.
So yeah, I wake up early, brush my teeth because I feel like the first word has to be with a clean mouth. I don't know. It's a thing.
There's actually something. No, there is.
Yeah.
Like I read something that like waking up, like there's something like with like your body's like biology that if you get up and brush your teeth and stuff like that, there's actual other effects. We need like a fact checker on this show.
Yeah, you need one. You're at that stage.
There's
You need one of
something
those
there
guys.
where you should do it first for overall optimal health.
Yes.
But the first word should be clean. I like that.
Yeah, it's true. And then obviously make my bed.
What time do you wake up?
Depends. 6 to 7.
Okay.
Yeah. I used to wake up earlier, but I feel like I need my energy full to be ready for the day. And then journaling. Like
First thing.
Yeah.
Second thing.
Yeah.
First handle those teeth.
Yes.
Then get on
And
that
then
journal.
Yeah. So
I've been journaling before I brush. Maybe I should switch it up. See what happens.
Laura, what would you say to this next generation of younger men who can't seem to wake up before 9:30, 10 o'clock? What do you think about that?
I know. I don't know how I can do it. Yeah. I love this job. I genuinely love this job. So like once I wake up, like all I think about is like Sunrun pretty much. I don't know. It's I don't know. I love it. So once I'm done with doing that, all I want to start doing is something about with my job, like either progressing accounts or like, like looking at the threads and I don't know, it's 100% that you're in. Yeah.
What time do you start knocking? And what's your home situation? Do you have roommates?
No, I live by myself.
By yourself?
Yeah.
Okay. And so what time do you generally, on a non-meeting day, what time are you heading out and anything you do before work?
To Hood, 11. I try to be out by 11 and get there 12 and then, start knocking.
What do you do about like specific stuff? I mean, you're a franchise earner, and I hope what's happening is people, as they hear this, they're likening this to themselves. So they hear you say 11. It's funny that you picked 11 because when I was selling full time at the highest rate, non-meeting days, I would start at 11. I just felt like I needed the time, and so then what do you do about like food and stuff?
Food, I try to, right now I'm obsessed with acai bowls. So I feel like that's my lunch. It keeps me light.
Yeah, it's a quick $13 a day expense. I had an acai bowl addiction for a while, and it was like, this is an expensive habit.
Yeah. So that also energy drinks. Because I feel like when it's 4 or 5, your body, especially in the summer, and that happens to me, like the heat kind of makes you like a little bit heavier. So
imagine those dudes still sleeping, right?
Yeah.
The heat.
I don't know how they can do it. Yeah.
So you eat before, but then if you're on doors at 11 or 12, you don't take a break to eat in there.
Like 2, 3.
2, 3. Okay.
Yeah.
So you do.
2, 3.
Okay.
Yeah. And then once I'm back, like I don't like going home before it's light. So when the day finish like daylight in summer, that's when I'm like, okay, like I can go home. In the winter, for some reason, like I always find people like when literally it's about to getting dark, like 5:30, and then the house, I close the deal, and then okay, 7:38, I can go home.
Your brain is really good. Like even like you can't help it, but like when you say you give it might come from journaling, because even that you said every time it's winter and it's like 5:30, it's about to get dark, I always find somebody. Telling yourself that, because you could say, ugh, it's really hard to find people. It's so dark. They wonder what I'm doing. But instead, you've told your brain, look for opportunities, because I'm the type of person that
4:30 to 5:30 is
That's right.
game on.
And so then that's what you find.
And then boom.
But
Same
it's true.
thing with gratitude. I think gratitude might train you for that, because again, you could find things to complain about. Most people do it easier than finding things to be grateful for. But if you've trained your brain to say, hey, at least I'm healthy, at least I have opportunity, at least whatever, right? Then you've trained to look for it. But it's funny because I've caught you do that a bunch of times, and you say, oh, I love this job. Oh, I love knocking till dark. You flip that. That's where a lot of other people are, is they're like, oh, I hate knocking at dark once it's dark. Right?
When you see it, like you've said the word lay down 20 times, like you keep being like, yeah, I find lay downs, where I think just all our reps in San Diego are like, there are no lay downs in San Diego. It's so saturated. You and Spencer both hit franchise in two of the most saturated of the saturated area. And you think different. You're like walking through, you're like, oh yeah, well, I'm going to find this. And usually if I stay out, that's when I find a lay down. So I just stay out a little bit longer, because then there's a lay down. And it's like your brain, and then you repeat that success over and over. And it's like real confidence, because now if you have 100 accounts that you've done that with, it's not like you're hyping yourself up. It's not this like, I think when I try to encourage someone like, dude, you got to think about this a little different. A lot of times they're thinking what I'm saying is like, just work yourself up into some frenzy that believes there's a lay down in your neighborhood. It's like, no, when you've done it 100 times, your brain through and through now is like, yeah, I'll find one. There's going to be someone out here. So many neighbors have solar. They've probably got friends who've already done it, had a great experience. And I'm going to find that one that's just ready. And then you do it. And then your brain's like, see, and then you do it again. And now you're in this rhythm that's like, hey, 5:30. It's the weirdest thing at winter at 5:30. I always seem to get in, right? Because I should be working till 7 or 8. But I don't want to really knock, at 8 o'clock at night when it's been dark for 3 hours. So I'll just get in at 5:30, wrap one up, make it super sticky, go home, and it's a good day. It's like, it's so cool to hear that, but it's true. It's like it's really unique how you think. Usually that takes 10 years of repeating success, and it's like you're just, everything you're saying, I'm like, that's just the right way to think.
Yeah, like, have you heard The Psychology of Selling?
Yes.
Yeah. So how many times does he say in that book to tell yourself, I like myself, I like my job? And why? Because it reprograms your brain. But you've said multiple times, oh, I love this job. I love being outside. I love meeting people. I love knocking after dark. I love Sundays. I love getting up, right? So it's like, now you're tuned to it.
So many people don't say it, and then
gotta say it, dude.
And then you get
Gotta
this life checks you. You go back to a normal job for 6 months, and you're in a cubicle for 8 hours a day being micromanaged, and you're like, it was pretty nice being outside,
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
really powerful.
I used to tell myself when I sold alarms, when it would start to rain, that would be the thing that killed everybody. And I had this one day where I sold 3 and it was raining. And so I started telling myself like, oh, I always sell 3 when it rains. So then when it rained and everyone was bummed, I was actually like, oh, it's a 3-day. And if you look back on rainy days, I actually sold 3 most rainy days.
Yeah, it's really
right?
easy to get inside when it's raining.
Yeah.
You
Right?
tell yourself stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, whenever it's raining, people seem to be way cooler about letting me in.
That's right.
It's like those little brain triggers, and then you go out and you're like, all right, yeah, I got to go stand in the rain, but I'll get in way faster today. And it's just totally different.
Yeah. Yeah. So I feel like you love this job, and the job loves you back. Either with, it pays you with incentives.
That's your title, by the way.
Yeah, you just threw that one out there and it's stuck.
Yeah. So I feel like also the people around, having a good leader, it's so important. And I feel like,
Talk about how that's helped you.
so part of my success is being, because thank God I was in Sean's squad, Sean Watson. I don't think I would be here, or maybe yes, but it wouldn't be that easier without the support of him and Kat. Kat is been always helping me move the accounts, like
Kat, Sean's wife.
yeah.
So let's for the leaders listening, talk to me what Sean. I didn't know Kat was helping you. That's amazing. Kat's the best. But talk to me about what Sean did to help you that other leaders should do to help the people on their team.
I literally thought about this when I was driving with Grant here. So, for example, when I finished my combine and then Q1, he is the squad leader that has one-on-one with every single rep and builds like a vision. So, for example, when I came to my first one-on-one with him, he already had this vision plan for me. So, okay, for Q2, I want you to hit this, and then this is going to happen in Q3. And I was like, oh my God, like, I always am impressed how he has the time to do all these things, not only for his squad, but for the office, as an office level. And if you look, his squad is the best in the office, and I think it's because we all love him, genuinely, because he cares.
I was with Sean's car group yesterday. We're like rotating car groups, and the guys, I asked them this question because they said to me at dinner, Sean went to the restroom and we went and grabbed dinner after, and they said Sean's the best. They're like,
talking good about him behind his back.
They said I said, let's get all this out before he gets back. I don't want that ego going out of control. But they said, we just want to work in a way that makes Sean really proud. Wow. And I was like, because Sean's not some like over demanding, overbearing like drill sergeant. And I was like, what makes you say that? And they said exactly what you just said. They're like, we literally know that Sean cares about us, and he puts that time, and then he does these things and exemplifies all the right behaviors. He does all the stuff. And they're like, so it's not even like a thing we talk about. We just want to work in a way that would make him really proud. And I was like, wow. That's incredible. So that's really cool hearing you say it. But yeah, keep going.
Yeah.
So one-on-one with vision. What else?
Just being like every time you text him, he's like very responsive. Like he's not the leader, because I've heard like, there are things that, like they respond until the end of the day or something like that. But he can be knocking and he can like literally pick up the call. Always being responsive, and having that support definitely helps, like day at a time. Like
It's amazing. It's really cool to say that. Like his journey has been one that's been really fun to observe, from where he was when Sean's like podcast number like 3 or 4 on Electric People. It was before he worked here. He's a professional wakeboarder before that became our friend. We needed to like re-up the Watson podcast because now
we need to do a Sean.
Become a full seller and a leader and a really developmental person in the business. But the value of a good leader, I don't know how to quantify it. I'm the beneficiary of that myself. Like I've worked pretty hard. I've learned to think well. But man, I don't think I would have made it if I didn't have the right people framing that journey early on, saying, hey, you're pretty good. You could be here. I want you to do these 2 or 3 things. Because a leader, like think of the word, they're ahead of you. They can see things in the path that you cannot see because your view is blocked, right? And so all they have to do is tell you what they see from up ahead, and then it lifts you up. And you're like, oh, okay, now I'll move towards it. Yeah. And I'm sure that all of the things that he said, as far as like, this is where you need to be by this quarter and that quarter, that then becomes the standard, right? It's like, oh, okay, well, I'll just go do that. And then you beat it. So it's so important for a leader to give accurate vision to people, because if you do it right, they believe it. And then that becomes their reality, Yeah. What about, if you've probably seen other people under the same mentorship that haven't had the same outcome that you've had? What do you see as the biggest difference maker of someone that has a good leader that's in a good opportunity? Like, I'm fascinated by this idea that I've worked here for 20 something years, and I've worked with thousands and thousands of people that are not here anymore. And I often think, why did this work for me? and not for them. What? It's not like I'm more talented. It's not like I was more calculated. Like, what is it? So you've probably seen that too, right? Like people that have been on your same team that maybe even have like a similar life or background. Why has it worked so well for you and not them? What do you think that is?
That's a very good question. But
It's going to bother you for decades. It's the one thing that like I'm obsessed with, like articulating what steps people can take to have it work the way it's worked for me.
Yeah. I feel like before this job, I had my struggle. So I think I feel like God is rewarding me because I already had that struggle before. But I think it all comes to effort. So I always tell people like, just go work. You're gonna find someone and know that you're gonna find it. If I tell them like, if you feel like like you're not getting something, call me because you're gonna need that push. You're gonna find it. So I feel like it's having a strong mindset that you're gonna find someone. Like you have to keep going. Like
it's
no
the
giving up.
Mindset and the effort, right? Because a lot of people, if you were to follow them around for the day and just watch, there's probably one, the way they think, right? And then two, the micro decisions. There's just like, you don't think it's a big deal to go to work at 11. I don't know. Sean probably didn't tell you to go to work at 11, but there are people listening to this and be like, 11? It's 4 hours before I go out knocking. And you're like, well, yeah, you just need more. It seems to the doer, the actions seem obvious, right? Because you have a clear vision, you know what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
To those that don't have a clear vision or that aren't, like, they don't really know why they're doing it, or the ones that are weak, not resilient, they just can't seem to put them. I don't know. It's weird. Like for you, is the job hard? Is it a hard job?
No.
See? But some people are like, oh, it's so hard. And I go both ways. It could be hard or not. Like I realize that it goes against the grain of human nature, and that's hard. But if you're just to write down what you do in a day, it's not like it's hard.
Well, and for the reward you get, like I feel like every time I make a sale, my brain's first thought is our job is so easy. Like I literally, it's what I text our leadership group almost every time. Like, dude, for what we just made, for how happy this customer is, how good the relationship is, how I got to be outside, all the stuff. It took an hour and a half. I'm like, dude, it's not that hard. Like, yeah, there's hard days, there's this, but I'm like, that wasn't that hard. And I think you're kind of answering the question with like everything you've said this entire podcast is it's gratitude and perspective. It's like, because even the one-on-one thing, that's what's really fascinating for like a high level leader like Sean or anyone who's running a big team. He can do that same practice and you leave and you go, I can't believe he took the time to map this out and put it there. And the one-on-one right after you might call me and be like, yeah, Sean put this thing together, but it didn't even really like have this part of my goals. And I felt like I could have had a better one-on-one if I was, talking to so-and-so. And you're like, dude, how are you leaving that with any negative anything? Yeah. And so I think because I think about that all the time too, is like, what's the difference that we can go to a conference, the energy's high, you hear from Ty, Turnbull, all these amazing things. And on the drive home, and I feel like my job's weird now because I'll get one call that someone's like in tears being like, just full of gratitude going, I can't believe I get to work here. I have the most amazing life. And I pick up the next phone call and it's like, bro, this is really changing. And I'm like, you guys were sitting next to each other. Yeah. What happened here? Yeah. And I think it really comes down to your ability to receive it, which is that gratitude practice, the long-term, like circumstantial perspective you have. And then the daily choice to be like, hey, every day that I go out, I'm going to choose. That's why I asked you earlier, like, do you have to put your thoughts in check sometimes or is it just natural? And you said you have to put them in check. Like you're choosing daily to be like, nope, I'm going to look at it this way. And then what do you know? That repeated success comes again and again and again. And it's really cool. But
it is cool. I think I want to ask you a question about, so I get to go out and at minimum knock doors once a month. So 2 months ago I got to knock with you. And it's funny because a lot of people, actually the last couple, so I knocked with Danny Torres last time too. And I always love when people are excited versus like scared. Like some people are like, oh, I always tell people, I'm not here to train you. Like I'm not here, like you got people that can do that. I want to see the process. I want to see the customer reaction. I could knock with anybody. But I'd never felt any sense of like it was like you were already in the hood. I was a little bit late. You were working, like you were a woman about her business. You know what I mean? But the thing I was really impressed of, and the thing I've commented on multiple times on other threads, is I'm like such a fan of sales. I love when somebody has the fundamentals down. I love when it's like watching a good game where you're like, wow, that was like a good display of like athletic excellence. Watching your sale was like a really good display of sales excellence. Like, you know your stuff. Like, you know, I couldn't have given you a negative critique. In fact, I watched that sale and I've changed other things. I was telling you this. I changed other things in our process to support you better, because it's like the relationship was right. The pace was right. The tone was right. The words were right. It was rehearsed. It was prepared. There was constant forward momentum. You dealt with the objections in like a effective and paced way. You transitioned into closes and you got it done. And the whole time I was like, I wouldn't have changed a thing. It was awesome. So congratulations.
Thank
I
you.
was impressed. And how did you develop that? What is your thought regarding like developing sales skills?
I feel like being a good student, and I don't think I'm, the best. I feel like I've always, like every day I need to learn something. This is a constant learning job, and just being a good student, like asking for feedback. And if someone that is doing better than you tells you to do this, okay, if they're telling me to do this, I have to do it. So when I first started, I had this girl that was training me, and I feel like when she training me how to do the ACC down, that's when it clicked for me, because I feel like in the ACC down is where the magic happens.
Yes.
And they get it, like the customer get it, and it's
We talk about them having that aha moment where the things you've been saying the whole time, it finally hits them, and they're like, oh, you mean to tell me? And you're like, yes, welcome to the conversation.
Yes. If it makes sense for me, like, oh, I understand this now, obviously that's what I'm gonna express to the customer.
Yeah, I think people would do well to strengthen that part of their presentation. We always say the point of a door approach is to get into the home where the sale happens, right? So if you just sit down and just basically take them through, because there's like the psychological part of the sale, and then there's like the administrative part of the sale. We're talking about how we're alleviating some of the stuff on the administrative side. But a lot of people, I think selling is the administrative side. I got to get your information. I got to get this design. I got to make sure you like the design. The first part of that should really be helping them understand the problem, helping them understand where the solution and where we fit, and then moving them to the administrative side, right? And if you do that first part right, if you get them thinking with you and kind of like on the same page, the administrative thing is a breeze. That's the problem I have with a lot of setter closer stuff. There's a time for it when you're new. There's a time for it when you're seasonal. The challenge I have with it as a professional is the close is really, really easy if you've set it up right. It's actually really easy.
Part.
It is.
The easiest part.
But it's really hard to close, almost impossible if it's set up wrong. But I always see people be like, oh, I'm going to come close this for you. And I was like, well, if it's done right, that is easy. You could have a robot with an iPad close it, right? I think the magic is what you just talked about, sitting at the table and being like, all right, I'm going to help you understand this in a way that nobody has helped you understand it before, because clearly you don't have it yet, right? Let me take you through it. Or like if ever you met someone that says, I would never buy from a door-to-door salesperson. And in your head, you're like, well, you've never sat down with me at a table, because your experience has shown you that that's a painful process. you probably feel like, and I feel like, if I do a good job setting this up, you'll just do it.
Yeah.
Because it makes sense, right? So that piece that you said, like, if it makes sense to me, that's what I'm going to be communicating. What are some like things, and I saw it, I don't know how conscious you are of it, but what are some things that are mandatory to a good sit down? What are things that like have to be there in order for it to go well?
Well, for you, I feel like it's a system that it's already dialed for you.
Yeah. You know what comes next.
Yes. So that first. And then I feel when we talk about, the problem and like actually help them see the actual problem, that's where it's like, oh, like I get a lot of people being like, oh, okay.
They actually make the noise.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then, like when they say, oh, like we just don't believe about this free solar, blah, blah, blah. Like, no, it's not about free solar. It's basically like an utility swap. Instead of you paying SDG&E, you pay Sunrun for the electricity without you having to come out of pocket with equipment. But that's only if the home qualifies. You do the takeaway.
She can't give the benefit without pulling it back just a little.
Yeah.
It's a really impressive process. Like, you should know that. And Grant's on a couple threads where I was like, dude, I just knocked with Laura, and I love seeing people that have sat down on your own time with pen and paper, and I could just tell you've written that process out and you've changed things that work better because everything in there was the right thing. A lot of times I'll sit in and I'll be like, yeah, you're just winging it. You know what I mean? But the opportunity is too high to wing it, right? Like the opportunity to turn one customer and get referrals and turn them into 5, and the earning potential and the savings and stuff, the stakes are too high to wing it.
Ty's knocked with a lot of people, and he's not just saying that. He usually gets
Sometimes
on and goes,
I come back and I'm like, we're not good at selling. Guys, change everything. We're not good at selling.
I wasn't going to say that, but we get those sometimes. And
you do get them.
Yeah, we do get them.
Honestly, we get them more often than not.
And he hopped on that thread and was like, that was one of the most impressive shadows I've had. Like, I was really impressed. So
Boom.
Thank you.
Shout out. I want to say this because this is huge to me. This is huge to everyone. I'm sure everyone wants to know about it. But first female franchise rep in the history of Flow. How does that feel?
Amazing.
A lot of people have come through Flow, you know.
A lot of people. That's a really big deal. So I feel like we should probably talk about it for at least a couple minutes.
Yeah.
But maybe like, because your whole story, even down to the last day, what happened there, like I just want to kind of hear, like, talk us through that.
Yeah.
Why was that important to you? What was the process like? What did you learn going through all of it?
Yeah. So I feel like by the end of 2024 was an amazing year. It was a year of a lot of positive changes. I got my green card. I went to see my family.
Wow.
And it was in the perfect timing because I had money in my bank account. So I could go to Colombia and like take them to a trip. It was an amazing
That's how you do it. When you've
year.
done the work first, the perks are incredible.
Yes.
If you haven't done the work, everything is stressful.
Yes.
You know.
Yes. So by the end of that year, by the end of that year, I was like, oh my God, like this was such an amazing year. Now what? What I'm gonna hit next? And then New Orleans conference. Oh my God, that conference fired me up.
What a show, huh?
Yeah, because I remember.
That was such a fun trip.
Yes.
Yeah.
By the end of that year, Sean told me, next year you're gonna hit franchise. And I was like, yeah. But inside me, I was like, I don't know. I don't think, like, that's hard. Like, I don't think I'm going to do it. Like, literally, like, I was like, yes, for sure. But but then New Orleans, when I saw all these people hitting franchise, making all this money, girls, like, it just, like, change my perspective. Like, oh, it's possible. I can definitely do it.
Yeah.
So Q1, I shoot for it. Didn't happen.
What did you hit Q1?
I did 38. My goal was 40 VCs because for me it's a numbers game. So I was thinking if I do 40 VCs, the installs will come.
Of course.
And I did 38 VCs and 11 installs.
Okay.
So it was like, oh, like this is harder than what I thought it was gonna be. So, and then Q2, literally the first day of Q2, I woke up and I said, I'm gonna hit franchise. And I felt I was gonna hit franchise. It was a weird feeling.
Everybody on the block, like at that moment, was like, "What was that?" I just felt an energy shift. What happened?
Yeah, no, I felt I was gonna hit it.
Yeah.
I just had that confidence. And then by the end of May, I scheduled my 10th. So I was like, I said I was going to hit franchise this quarter. It's not going to be a quarter. I'm going to be like, oh, okay, like 11, 12, 13 inches, and I didn't hit it. So I have to push again.
So you needed 10 in the last month.
Mm-hmm. So and then, I did a few visits that week, and I was like, okay, that could be my 11, 12. Okay, I can do it. So I asked Carla in Boston and Ashley, hey, girls, like, this is where I'm at. Do you think it's possible? And Carla, her words were like, of course, work is not done until it's done.
She's the best.
Yes.
I just imagine, I have so much FOMO with She Run sometimes where I'm like, I wish I could be like on the call with like Carla and Laura being like, hey, do you think I got this? And she's like, you better get it. Like,
yeah. So
she has a very similar story to you.
Yeah.
Right? I love that.
Yes. She's very, like a lot of people look at her as an example. But she's fierce. Like Carla's fierce. She's intense. Yes. Yes. So she say, you don't stop at the last mile. Go fucking work. You can't cut that, but so that
in
for
my
me,
head, I'm like these two sweet, like encouraging people, and then we went there. We're going hard. Okay.
Yeah.
I got to level up to get in that conversation. It sounds like I'm not at the level.
Yeah. So then I was like, okay, I gotta be looking. So it was like a sprint of just working. I remember we had this incentive for Palm Springs in a mansion. And I was like, I'm not going to go there. Like, this hitting franchise is more important. Like, that doesn't matter. So, like, anything didn't matter, just hitting franchise. So, it was like me waking up, okay, now I need 12 and then 13. I need to do 5 VCs. It was just like like a game. Yeah. And then when I was closing cap for 17, I remember the guy was like, no, I don't think I'm going to do it, blah, blah, blah. Literally, that cap felt like if it was the end of the world. I went to my car. I started crying. I called my friend. This guy doesn't want to do it, and I really need this one to hit franchise. So I have to keep selling. So my inside conversation was, okay, like there is going to be 2 outcomes. Either I hit 18 installs or I hit franchise. So I don't want to be the person that hit 18 installs and say, I wish I hit 3 more doors the last month for the whole quarter, right? So I didn't want to say that. Like, I didn't want me to be in that position. So I kept selling. And then last fight, by June 25th, I scheduled my last 3 installs. But then one of them was like, I knew I had to do effort, that it was good. It could be either like my 19, like I was going to end the quarter with 19 or 20.
That guy, like, that's the one you meet where you're like, you're about to get the best deal of your life, buddy.
Yes.
Like, so literally, what do you need? You need a new couch, you need a new fridge, you need a motorcycle. What's
anything.
It gonna take?
Well, it was like at the time, so Sean, Katrina, everyone is like messaging the chats. We got to get these permits. So everyone is going ham, and it's like Laura has number 20 scheduled,
but it's shaky.
And then all of a sudden, this moment, like.
So I went there and I was like, please God, like this needs to go in. So I went there. They're Colombians.
How many days were left in the quarter?
Like 5. Yeah, 5.
A couple days left.
So please God, like help me, like this gotta look in. So I went there. And the lady, and I told her, so yeah, great news. We got the permits from the city. We're ready to schedule install. And then she was like, let me think about it. And I was like, okay, God, like. And then the husband came from work and the husband sit next to her. He was like, oh, so do we get approved by the city? Yes, guys, congratulations. And now we can install, we can schedule install for this day. And then she looked at him, and then and then
I feel like I'm there. I got it.
And then the guy was like, you're ready, say yes, and we like go for it. And then she looked at me. She said, okay, we're gonna do it.
You're like, then you jumped out of the chair and hugged her, and she's like, geez, no.
No, and then I started crying in front of them. And then I told them, oh my God, guys, you have no idea how
that's
this
the
means to
best.
me. Because of you, I'm hitting a milestone in my company. Thank you so much.
Oh, man.
And then they cried with me and they hugged me.
This is the best 20th install ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The best.
Yeah, and then they hugged me and they were like, well, you deserve it. Like, you work really hard. Like, it was such a special.
That's amazing.
That's when
Good
I
for
felt
you.
I hit franchise.
That's
in that moment.
Think about that, though. Like, back to what we said with The Alchemist. Like, when you need to listen to that book, okay? The Alchemist.
Okay.
But when... actually, you should read it because the guy that does the
read it the
audio
first
is a
time.
little... He goes there with his voice. But anyway... when you truly want something, the universe conspires to help you get it. Like, think of how bad you wanted that, right? And so it's like, you probably look at it, you're like, anyone could do it, but not everybody wants it like you want it. Not everybody has that conversation of like, well, I don't want to be the one that didn't hit 3 doors. You didn't be the one going into your last sale when she said no. You're like, I don't know how I'm going to get this done. And then guy walks in and just do it. And then, like, you're a constant example of holding the resistance back, just pushing against the resistance, and now you're strong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But most people, they get that resistance and it's too much for them, and they're like, yeah. Most people would have stopped at 17 because that's when the resistance was the strongest. Mm-hmm. But if you push through it, then it's almost like, I'll give you 3 more. It just comes,
Yeah. And
yeah,
then,
dude, that's awesome.
Yeah. And then, so I scheduled my 3 installs to hit 20. And then it was 6 p.m. And I feel like I had my biggest fear was manifested, meaning that I scheduled an install and they cancel. I've never experienced that.
Oh, really?
No. So
Get in line.
it was, yeah.
I don't feel bad for you there, then.
So it was 6 p.m. and I was like, okay, I'm good for my 20. And then I got a text from one of those installs. Hey, Laura, I think we think about it, and I think we're going to hold off. Thank you so much. And I was like, there is no way. Like, so I went there at 6 p.m. They needed the emotional hug. For them, it's important to have the emotion. It's okay. You're going to be
Most
fine.
people need that. Honestly, the biggest thing that most people lack when they get an objection is they need reassurance.
Yes.
That's the thing that I see most people, they go at the intellect versus the emotion. They just need to know that everything's going to be okay.
Yes.
But it takes a professional to go from crying on the last install to now being in the seat of the hugger, the hug giver,
You're like, what
and
do you
being
need?
like,
I'll
all
be
right,
that.
let me help you with this. Like,
Yeah.
that's the professional part. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I got it locked in, so I hit franchise.
I feel like I need a second.
It was the best 20th install because they
So
went through
that's
that.
actually the 20th install, not the other
Yes,
one, right?
and so, which one? Yeah, and so I remember like Sean was all fired up. I knew Katrina was working on the back, and then like I saw Katrina, our families got together, and Katrina's like, Laura just called me, and she had one pull off, and then she saved it, and then this, and like Katrina and her were on the phone crying together, and I was like, it was this moment where I'm like, dude, this is awesome.
The
like
most important thing.
Yeah.
The most important thing for anybody that's developing is to be proud of themselves. Like to that effort, truly you earned it, right? And you know that even if you would have done 19, you probably would have felt like it's good, it's better than most. But are you proud?
Yes.
And you earned that. Like you earned that pride. That's freaking awesome.
so cool.
It builds a lot of confidence. So
What's next?
next I wanna hit franchise again.
How you looking?
I'm good. I'm working on it. The good thing is that, like, okay, I did it. I actually think this is another challenge. So it's like, I don't want to be the person that just hit it once.
Yeah. It's actually, if you can maintain the cadence, it's actually easier. If you can pull referral, like you're getting more, your customers have, and your clients in the neighborhood, your prospective customers have seen more success. So they've been warmed up to the idea because you've worked around them. The other thing is, you have more people to pull from. So like the 1 or 2 referrals that you get from the 3 to 5 extra sales, it actually is easier. Plus your confidence is there, plus you're sharp, plus your pitch is good. Like the odds of you hitting franchise now, it should be easier. There's still going to be resistance, obviously, but that's why, like, once you get there, it's easy to stay there. It's hard to get there, as you know.
Yeah, it's easier to make 100K than 10K, and definitely it's easier to do 20 installs than 10 installs.
When you feel different, like when you've had more success, you actually, your body, if you were to pull like a blood sample of your chemicals, they're different if you've done 20 versus done 6. Like 6 is either not proud of themselves, knows they could develop their skill, or has been not working as hard as they should. This person, like, oh, I've had more success. I've had more positive, like chemical reinforcement. I have more optimism. I'm associating with higher performing people. It changes your life. It really does.
I think too, the way your brain works, it's like, I always think someone who hits 8 installs and then shoots for Premiere, it's like, that's awesome. But your own brain knows that 8 and 10 is kind of the same thing. So like it's exciting. You hit a new milestone. It's cool. But going from 8 to 20 or going from 8 to 28, your brain, like you are subconsciously, you're like, all right, I'm about to change the game. Like I'm about to do everything. If someone makes 80 grand and goes to 100 grand, they actually sometimes are financially worse because then they start spending more. Again, you kind of know it's the same lifestyle. Like, but if you go from 80 to 480, you have a different life. You're doing different things. You have different options. And so I think that's why it's so important. It's like like even that, going back-to-back franchise, you can hear it when you talk about it. You're excited about it. Thinking about being the first female in Flow to do that. Thinking about becoming a market leader. Like all those things, it's not like anyone has to come alongside you and be like, hey, trust me, Premiere is really important. Those last 2 installs, lock them in. Your brain is going, I'm going to do something that I'm genuinely proud of myself, and I impress myself, and I do these things. And then your brain actually has an easier time getting to work on that because it's bought into a real vision that's pulling you, rather than like, I got to step it up like 10% to like do the thing I'm supposed to do. It's like, well, you're not going to inspire yourself with that, or, you know.
Think of how you feel. Like he's right. Like when you said, oh my gosh, this is possible. That moment, like what is that feeling like where you're like, I can do this?
It flips.
That's life, right? Like
it's all the good things.
Energy.
It's all the fun stuff. Yeah, it's all the things.
Yeah.
So franchise again.
Yeah, keep building an empire.
You're an easy person to root for. You got the best mentality, and you do the work.
Thank you.
When people have that, you literally can't go wrong.
Yeah,
you know?
and I'm grateful for Sunrun. I feel like Sunrun is a source of blessings that not only changes like our lives, it also changes like who's around with us. And I feel like because of that, like it's a compound effect of blessings. It's gonna, later on, I feel like we're gonna make history. And I just think it's great to be part of that. So I'm really grateful for Sunrun.
Very well said. I feel the same way. I feel the same way. Well, thanks for joining us, Laura. I think you have a lot of fans now. So I'm glad that you got to share.
Cried, dropped an F-bomb in the perfect spot.
Yeah, you really took us through it was like a concert. You brought us up and down and bam, sent us out to work. But thank you so much for sharing, and thank you everybody for listening. I actually don't need to thank you for listening to this one. You're welcome for listening to this one from Laura, right?
Thank you so much. Thank
great.
you for having me.
If you like what you hear and are interested in joining the team, DM us on Instagram at RunXStreet.
What are you waiting for? Shoot us a DM and let's get going.